some trepidation when he went into the last fight with Wilder, because even though I thought he won almost all of the rounds, he still got knocked on his ass twice, and nobody expected him to get up after the second knockdown. So that's on a fighter's mind, right? Now he comes back, he gets a new trainer, Sugar Hill, and he's confident, and he's full of himself, rightly so, and so he feels that he'll be able to take Wilder easier than he did last time. I mean, it's as simple as that. There's no rocket science in this.
Is that a bad thing, given how hard of a puncher Wilder is?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing, because if you are afraid of a puncher and you stay away from the puncher, there's a limit to the time you can stay away, as the first fight showed, because eventually the puncher is going to get you. Right, because you're hitting him with maybe with an open fist, and you're beating the hell out of him, you're winning the point, and he's hitting with a punch that can knock you out. And so the way to fight a big puncher is not to crap around with him and to keep outboxing him, is to take it to him and prevent him from throwing his punch to knock you out. That was Tyson's theory then, it's his theory now, and it is what it is.
I know a lot of fans are disappointed that we didn't get the undisputed fight, but they're also asking, like, how did we end up with this fight when the undisputed fight was so close?
Well, the undisputed fight was close as not a cigar. The problem is, Eddie Hearn was screwing around with the deal that he was trying to make with the Saudis, and it went on months and months and months, because instead of just making a sight deal, you know, give us some money and we'll bring over the fight, he sold them, tried to sell them, all of the rights, all of the television rights, and they aren't fools. They had to do due diligence, they had to check what the split, they didn't know that the cable companies got a big piece of it. They didn't know anything. So they had to learn it, and back and forth, and then there was Ramadan, and we went nowhere. And meanwhile, the arbitration was limping along, and the judge decided the case for them. I don't necessarily think it was right, but the judge decided. But he would have, in my opinion, not enjoined Tyson from fighting Joshua if the fight had been signed, but it hadn't been signed.
Eddie contends that why'd you guys even go into these negotiations having that arbitration ongoing?
Because we put it in there. We had no control of the arbitration. The Wilder people forced it to arbitrate, which was their right, and we acknowledged it, and it was in the contract that the two fighters signed with each other, Joshua and Fury, that there was an arbitration, and that could upset the apple cart. So there was no surprise, but we thought that we would get that fight signed and sealed, the Joshua fight, and the worst case scenario, that Fury would have to pay some damages to Wilder. That's what we thought, but they crapped around, you know, Eddie reaching for, you know, on behalf of everybody, reaching for the most money possible for all the rights, and we never got that deal done, and the judge knew it wasn't done, and therefore he ordered Fury to fight Wilder. But if the deal had been done, I don't believe he would have ordered it.
So what went into your decision of all the places to have this particular fight, to have it at the T-Mobile arena?
Well, it's a great arena. I mean, and people who, I'm Las Vegas, so I'm prejudiced, but you know, I watch all the hockey, the Golden Knights, and we're going to pack that place. And so it's close to 20,000 seats. It's a state-of-the-art building. And the thing that's really good, if the fight is, let's say, at a casino, like MGM, then the other casinos are not as likely to buy tickets because they don't want their customers going in to another casino. If you do it at T-Mobile like we're doing it, then all casinos are equal and they all buy tickets, and that's what's happening now.
Bob, what goes from the future here in terms of the undisputed fight? Is there a plan in place for that?
For what?
For the undisputed fight after this?
No, the fighters have to win. Joshua has to win Usyk, beat Usyk, and then Fury has to beat Wilder, and then we'll sit down and try to get the fight done in December. But no more crap with a match and a rematch and everything. Just do the fight, and it'll be a winner and there'll be a loser. And that's the way it should be. And then if you want to do a rematch, you negotiate it afterwards.
Are you confident that Joshua will beat Usyk?
Deontay Wilder, he's asking for the fight a long time ago. And now he don't want to talk. He's about to promote. How disrespectful was today, not to talk with the press, even with the people?
Look, the last fighter that did this was Muhammad Ali. When we matched Ali to fight Leon Spinks for the first time, he took a vow of silence and wouldn't speak. And I think it was because he was embarrassed that he was such a big favorite over Spinks. Well, you know the result of that fight? He lost to Spinks. Spinks won a decision. And, you know, again, if the guy isn't going to speak, I think he's digging his own grave.
I'm sure you've touched
finally,
on...
sir, for my part, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of Mexicans down there in Mexico and here in USA, they are following now Gypsy King. They fell in love because we like beer, like in Mexico, we like box, and we like girls. We love girls. It's the same. The Gypsy is now like a Mexican for the Raza.
He's like a Mexican. He's like a Las Vegan. He's certainly more American now than he is Brit. I mean, that's for sure.
Bob, are you confident that Joshua will beat Usyk, and then, you know, we can have the undisputed if both guys?
I don't do the fights. I don't do the fights. The fighters do the fights. Usyk is a personal friend of mine. His best friend is Lomachenko. I've known Usyk for years. I really like him as a person. I've never promoted him. He seems like a trifle too small for a big heavyweight like Joshua. But if you ask me who I'm pulling for in the fight, I'm pulling for Usyk because Usyk is my friend.
Would a unification fight with Usyk, if he were to beat Joshua, would that make it easier for Tyson and Usyk to come together if Usyk were to win? Being that you guys are friends?
Hey, yeah, listen. I mean, if Usyk wants to fight, why not? Why not? I mean, again, Usyk is one of the most intelligent fighters as a fighter in the ring and outside the ring. He's a very, very bright guy. He's a big movie star in the Ukraine. People don't know that. I mean, he's a really special kind of person. So, you know, does he figure to beat Joshua? Probably not, because he's too small, you know. But if he does, I will be the first to be elated and congratulated.
Hey, Bob, I know you've been asked this.
Were you disappointed with Deontay being so silent? And is that something you anticipated?
No, I didn't anticipate it, but every fighter, every performer has a shtick, and that was his shtick for this performance. The last one with the silent shtick was Ali, who got beat by Leon Spinks. So,
Bob, I know you've heard this before, but what do you make of them and their team continuing bring up the allegations of the cheating and the gloves?
oh, that's
and all that?
absurd. Everybody knows. There are three allegations.
There's a lot of people that believe it, though.
They can believe it. A lot of people believe that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. What can you do? You know, but again, the idea that the gloves, which are in the possession of the commission, were somehow doctored and he put something in, which is impossible, is crazy. The fact that Breland, I don't know who knows Breland, I know Mark Breland, one of the nicest people ever to put on a pair of boxing gloves, that he's, as the corner man of Wilder, put something in Wilder's water is absurd. Or that Kenny Bayless, who never had a drink in his life, was drunk. Right? Okay. That's the same way, right, that the Democrats and the black people stole the election in Michigan, in Wisconsin, and in Arizona, and in Georgia. And if you believe it, you believe it. You're nuts, but you can believe it.